Thank you for being here with us. So, Fannie Willis is something that we've been covering for a very, very long time. She's the last case against President Trump. We had one of the co-defendants on here, Trevian Cutie, who, dropped a pretty big bombshell about you being involved in some sort of a collusion. Again, these are just allegations that William Barr, former Attorney General, Bill Barr, had some kind of involvement in this. And I just want to give you your opportunity, Armstrong. The floor is yours. You posted something on X today, a video on X today, which demonstrably denounced all of these allegations. But I want to hear from you. Tell us briefly a little bit about yourself. What kind of involvement? How did this even come about? And then what your thoughts are.
Well, nothing came about. So you have to ask me questions. I'm just as stunned as you are. I've never met Fani Willis in my life. I've never had a conversation with her. I've never seen her in person.
Okay.
Bill Barr has never been to my Washington office. He's been in my studio for interviews that has been posted and it was live on my television stations, but he's never been in my office, ever.
And neither has Fani Willis.
I've never met her.
You've never met Fani
in my life. I've never spoken to her a day in my life.
Okay. Why do you think this? Can you tell us a little bit about the whistleblower who works in your office who brought this story about? Why did she do this? What's her agenda? What's her motive?
Well, first, she worked for us as a lawyer, and after hiring her and investigating, we realized that she was never a lawyer. She claimed to be an immigration lawyer. And there are certain issues that we had with immigration that we assigned to her. And we realized that when she said she was going off to court or she was traveling to Austin, Texas for the client, she never traveled. We realized she was embezzling the money. So we immediately turned this over to the FBI. The FBI investigated. They set a court date in Alexandria, Virginia. And before they could sentence her, she fled the country. She's a fugitive. I mean, this is all public. She is someone who's a pathological liar, who's a masterful at social media, and who can capture. She thinks she can capture my voice. She's captured my identity on WhatsApp and purported that we had a conversation. I mean, this is someone who's really a fugitive. So obviously the FBI has been involved in this. And if anyone had any concern about the truth, all they had to do was literally reach out to Fani Willis, and Fani Willis will tell you she has never met me a day in her life. I mean, these are things when you're in our business, the core of our realm is trust. It's about facts. It's about integrity. It's about honesty. And so it's a simple thing. Fani Willis, and I have been one of her biggest critics, Professor.
That's true. That's true. You have.
My biggest critic. And for me as a media owner, can you imagine the Attorney General of the United States and the Fulton County DA coming to my office, meeting with me? I mean, I would have assumed that this was a joke, but the fact when my social media director and others have shown me the kind of interest in the millions of people have responded to this, and I go on my social media like Facebook or Twitter and Instagram, and they said, "Are you going to say something?" I said to myself, "Say what?" Then I realized I was violating one of my rules of thumbs when it comes to these kind of controversies. The first thing you got to do is not send some surrogate, not send your press secretary. You as a CEO in the face of this company has to get up front on it. And especially when she's maligning, saying that we're some corrupt, clandestine organization that's controlled by someone else. So I'm here on behalf of my company. I know what Patricia is. She's a fugitive. She's a pathological liar. And unfortunately, she's very good at manipulating people who are vulnerable, who may have their own axe to grind with Fani Willis or Bill Barr. But I can tell you, and I stake my reputation, my company, and everything else. I can tell you for a fact, Professor, that I have never in my life spoken to Fani Willis or met her, and Bill Barr has never been in my office, ever.
So you admit at least that she worked for you, she was in your office, And
Yes,
when
yes,
you
yes.
say she's a social media master, are you saying that this whistleblower is? Or are you talking about Trevian Cutie, one of the co-defendants?
I heard her name for the first time today.
Okay, okay.
I
So
have no idea who she is.
this
I'm talking about the
whistleblower, are you
whistleblower.
saying
Wait a
she's
minute.
a social media master? Okay,
Let me finish, please.
please.
Patricia is the only person I can speak of.
Okay.
She's the one who is the whistleblower. She worked for me. We
Mhm.
fired her, and she's a fugitive from the FBI. She's a pathological liar, is what she is.
Mhm.
And obviously, even though she's a fugitive from the FBI, she continues these postings. She continues. And listen, this is not the first time. We've had people from other newspapers in New York. We've had the Venezuelan government reach out to us, people who work for candidates that were running for office, asking us, could we go on the record to work with them to debunk her and show her for who she is. So we're not unfamiliar with this territory, but I mean, she's a fugitive.
What could be
Plain and
her
simple.
motive? What's her motive, Armstrong?
Unfortunately, I actually think she's mentally sick. I think she really believes that she
She's
conjures
mentally
up this.
sick.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think she's sick. I think she's very ill. And when you give her these platforms and empower her to believe that someone is believing her next set of lies, I mean, you heard her on the audio. If you look at closely at the audio, if you look closely at the
Did you listen to that whole audio, Armstrong?
yes,
Okay.
of course. I listened to
And there's
audio.
nothing in there. There's nothing in there. All the
Nothing,
talk about, yeah,
nothing. There's nothing in there. Nothing at
she's
all.
fabricating and making up the whole thing.
Yes, that's what she
Interesting.
does. Yes, that's what she does. And listen, here's the good news about life. Truth has a biological advantage. It doesn't need the artifice of man to survive. It lives and breathes freely on its own. My attitude with anything, question you, question me. Many people listening to me today, they don't know me. But one thing that is a fact, the truth is the truth, the truth. And whatever I say, if it's not the truth, it will be revealed and it will be my credibility. And so today, all I can tell you are the facts and the unadulterated truth. This woman is a pathological liar who's sick, really sick, needs help, and who's on the run. And she's been on the run from the FBI for at least a year now. She's a fugitive. Okay, these are court documents. And so it's a sad situation, but you have people who are very manipulative, who's very masterful at words and putting voices together, putting conversations together. And what she has done, she's created my words. Even Kevin, my social media guy, showed me today this conversation today. We're using these derogatory words about her being Latin and threaten her. That's not even me. She created all those words. She created that conversation. She created that illusion. It's all created. It's not even real. And anybody with any modicum intelligence about technology can check that out, do research, and realize it's all being created and engineered by her. That's where it's coming from. All by
You're
her.
talking about, so can you see the screen right now by any chance, Armstrong?
I would never use those words. I have never used a word of profanity in my entire life. Let me just say this to you. I have never, no one who's ever known me has ever heard me use one word of profane language. I have never used a word of profanity in my entire life. I don't even talk like this. It's not even me. She's using AI.
And you responded.
This is artificial intelligence.
This is artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's what she's using. Yes, it's AI.
Right. And so, okay, so let me ask you this. So all of this documentation that she has, that she says she has photos, she has videos. Let me ask you this. How did hiring Patricia take place in the first place? Can you share that?
Listen, someone asked me to give her a chance. They thought she was very bright, intelligent, sharp, had an incredible future, and she just was looking for a chance. And they asked me to hire her, and I did.
What were her qualifications?
She said she was a lawyer.
She said she was a lawyer?
Oh, yeah. She said she was a lawyer. That's why she was handling the immigration for us, because we thought she was a lawyer until we investigated and realized she was lying. And here's the other thing. About a month into her starting to work for us, I started having mixed feelings about her. I just never thought that who she said she was who she was. I just never believed that. And then I would catch her in lies. And then she would say she was going to the courtroom to file documents. And we would have people follow her. And she would never go to the courtroom. She would go home. And so after a year or so, it hit a boiling point because we had this guy, a friend of mine, asked me if I could help Julian Reese with his immigration papers. It was not my area. Patricia says that's what she does. He wired her a lot of money. And I said to him, don't send the money to me. Send it to Patricia. Send Patricia the money because I trusted her. And then what I realized, she ripped this guy off. Not only Julian Reese, but Terry Giles, 50,000. I mean, she was a stone cold thief. Understand this. And these were friends of mine who I could have lost favor with, but they realized that, I told them, I said this to them. I said to Terry, I said to Julian, whatever you do with Patricia, keep me in the loop. But they became so infatuated and so enamored with her and so trusting of her. They were saying she's the best. Oh, she's great. She has integrity. And then I said, okay. Then I realized we figured out nothing happened. No documents. She stole $700,000. And what did I do? I called the FBI. And they did the investigation. And they found out that she had frauded a lot of people out of money. And she was indicted. But she fled the country. She's a fugitive.
I think this is a valid comment, Armstrong. I'd like you to comment on this. One of our audience members said, why did you hire her without checking her credentials?
Well, listen, when you're dealing with people you trust and they vetted her, sometimes we trust people because we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for someone that we have trusted. And I hired her based on the trust that I had in someone else. Can happen to any of us. All of us are human.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
Yes.
It's interesting to me, like, I mean, the amount of detail, the amount of, attentiveness and conciseness in her testimony. It's interesting for our audience and for the world, Armstrong. How do you justify somebody who it seems is starting her career, or at least, trying to escalate and elevate her career by working for you, who's obviously accomplished, successful? What would be her idea or motive for fabricating? I mean, she gave the detail that she heard Bill Barr herself say, "Let's get him into RICO," referring to Trump.
Listen, let me tell you this.
Please.
I'm a huge fan of American Greed and Forensic. And when you watch those shows, as I do, and you see what people purport themselves as being and what they're capable of in marriage, in business, from the churches through whatever, you realize that people can be very deceptive. And look, this is just one of my American Greed moments. I had my, what is really interesting, Kevin, who's our social media director, she did some work. She asked him to do some work, and she promised him that she was going to pay him thousands and thousands of dollars. But you know what I told him? And this went on for about 6 months. It just like no different that other people buy into it and they believe in her. No matter what I would say to him, I said, Kevin, I got to tell you something. I've got a gut feeling she's not going to ever pay you. I just want you to know, because it's my credibility, and I know you're building your trust based on our relationship. He said, no, I've got my own. She's going to pay me. I said, I don't think she's going to ever pay you. And guess what? She never paid him his money. I think it was about $15,000. She never paid it. She just didn't. That's what she's good. She's very good at seducing people, making them think she's the most trustworthy person in the world. I've seen it on American Greed. It is no different than in Patricia. She's very good at what she does, but she is a thief, a liar, deceptive, and a fugitive. I cannot say that enough. That's who and what she is. And I had to learn the hard way. Thank God I had the guts to fire her, terminate her, and cut ties with her.
Can I ask you this, Armstrong? Thank you, by the way. And again, I think you coming on, I think speaks volumes that you're willing to, you're not sending some PR representative, et cetera, you coming on yourself as the CEO, as the person in question. I think that speaks volumes, and I appreciate that.
Let me say this. Let me say this before I interrupt.
Please.
I don't know if you understand this. I really feel so bad about this because of the number of people that have been hurt. Because you know what? I was defamed in this. What was said about me was libelous, about my company, that we're a fraud, we're corrupt, we're involved in illicit and illegal activities. And see, I just cannot leave that out there. Now, if this person were to apologize to me and said I got it wrong, I was manipulated, I was misled. But you know, people say it with such fire as if it's the truth. And they believe it so boldly they can come on your platform and say these things. The last thing I want to do is take on another legal case. But I'm telling you, the things that were said, and I listened to it, was said, knowing that this person was manipulated. The last thing I want to do is follow suit. But if I have to, I will, because I understand we get so caught up and become so blinded by people that we want to believe for whatever reason or not, and we believe them, and we go right down that rabbit hole with them to self-destruction. And I just hope anybody who has any modicum knowledge of research, if you look into this deep enough, you will quickly come to the conclusion that these are lies. Because listen, there is no way that I could ever hide in the building I'm in front of Capitol Hill, the Capitol Hill police, Fani Willis and Bill Barr coming in my building, and nobody's going to see that. Just no way. And the other thing is, why is it would I be one of her harshest critics, and all along I'm in some kind of collusion with her? It just doesn't add up. At least at some point it has.
I agree.
It just doesn't add up.
Armstrong, I absolutely agree it doesn't add up. But here's the question I think that a lot of people have is, you think she's manipulated, which I want to dig into, like who, what, why, who could be possibly manipulating her. I want to ask you that in a second. But here's the thing. Why, if she is being manipulated, if she is lying, if everything is a fabrication, and she's, as you say, to use your words, she encompasses quote unquote American greed, why would she pick such specificities as Fani Willis, Bill Barr, Nathan Wade? Why would she pick Ben Carson? Why is she putting all of those together when she knows you're one of the harshest critics? Wouldn't it be more believable and justifiable if it had something to do with Kamala or something like that?
Listen, the one thing I don't engage in when you've had as many employees around that I've had is that sometimes there's just things you don't need to understand. It's just sometimes things don't make sense. I can't get into her head and answer those questions, why she does those things. And the only thing I can go back to is what I've said earlier. She has to be mentally ill. There's a sickness that's going on, and talking about this has to feed her in some kind of way, has to give her some kind of glory, because in my mind, I mean, this person needs to be institutionalized.
Why would you say mentally ill? What evidence do you have that she's mentally ill?
Oh, I work with her. I'm not going to get into that. I've seen her at some of her lowest moments. I've seen her break down. I've seen how fragile she can become, because, you know,
have other people in the office seen these kind of episodes or what have you that maybe
that's not important. What matters is I saw it. Okay. I'm the CEO.
Well, I mean, calling somebody mentally ill, I think that's kind of
no, it's not. Not
especially somebody who's accusing you of a strong allegation.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't apologize for my conclusion. She is mentally ill. Anyone in their right mind would not create such elaborate lie that Fani Willis and Bill Barr has been frequenting my office in some kind of collusion. You have to be sick to create something like that and get other innocent people in it who could probably get sued. Okay, you have to be sick when you engage people in greed and you entrust them with their money. You steal $700,000. There is a depth of sickness that's going on with this person. That's what it is. Now, you may not like it, but those are my facts.
No, it's not a matter of liking it. I just want to. I want to just get to the bottom of it. No,
it's not a matter of liking it. Yeah, she's sick, no question, sick.
Okay,
and she needs to be institutionalized. She's sick.
So when she and it's pretty obvious what your assessment is, Armstrong. This is why I wanted you to come on the show, and I appreciate you being here. Is I wanted you to share your side of the story. Let me ask you this, if I may. So let's kind of switch gears here. What do you think of Fani Willis, and what do you think of the case that she still is bringing up and launching? It's not dismissed yet. The appellate courts have canceled the oral arguments. How do you even? I don't even know how you specifically feel. I know you've criticized her, but how do you feel about her now given everything that's happened, that President Trump has won, he's been reelected. Where do you stand on that now?
I'm not here to talk about Fani Willis and what she's doing now. Fani Willis is as much of a victim of this conversation today as Bill Barr and as I am. Donald Trump won the White House. The people decided, and now we should move towards healing this nation. What we're talking today is about someone who's using AI, using social media platforms to create a narrative about not only Bill Barr and myself, but Fani Willis, who's also a victim in this. I criticize Fani Willis on issues that I feel that are professional, where she crossed the line, and mine is never personal. Today is not the day to talk about Fani Willis because she is also a victim of this conversation today.
Okay. So you have your thoughts, and you've criticized her in the past, but this is not what is everybody missing here? I mean, what are we missing from this allegation beyond just the fact,
let me tell you what we're missing. It is no different. It is no different with the Duke lacrosse players who 20 years ago in 2006, the stripper accused them of rape.
You mentioned that in your video. You mentioned that in your video.
Yeah. And people want to believe the worst about people. They want to believe, especially this is what men do. And here we are 20 years later, where she had a spiritual moment and she said she's lied, and she's in jail having been found accused of murdering her boyfriend.
You know what, Armstrong, to be fair, I gotta interrupt you for a second. To be fair, I mean, she had a very definite, concrete motive. Whereas with Patricia, somebody who you hired without checking her credentials, and somebody who worked for you, and now is making very specific.
May I continue?
Okay. Let me just get this out, and I'm going to give you as much time as you went.
Thank you.
But this is somebody who's bringing up very specific connections, very specific conversations. She has receipts. Another co-defendant.
She has no receipts. That's in your mind. She has no receipts.
Well, okay. If you say there, okay, let me just say this. I want to give you the floor, but let me just say this. If you're saying that she made everything up and it was concocted through AI, those are just as strong allegations as what is being flung on you. Can you actually prove that they were AI?
We have receipts.
Okay.
We have all the evidence.
Please.
All of it. But I'm not here to show you our evidence.
You're here to refute these allegations. And I think evidence would help.
There's nothing to refute because I've never met Fani Willis in my life. Bill Barr's never been involved. There's really nothing to refute. Okay. Now, if there were a case where don't you know, and I'm talking to the audience now, if she had photos and audios of pictures in this office, don't you think they would be released? No. You know why? Because she doesn't have them. And the only way she would have them, I think
she's actually, to be fair, I think she's planning on releasing them.
Oh, she can't. She can't release that, something that doesn't exist unless she creates it. She can't release anything unless she creates it. Listen. Someone brings a sign.
There are softwares out there you can prove that it's AI. So I hope you employ those, because there are ways to detect.
This isn't the first time. You may assume that this is the first time. She's done this for years and years and years.
What else has she done? Tell me. What else has she done?
You do your research. It's the same thing I ask anybody to do. I'm not going to.
You're on my show. You're on my show. I'm here to get it from you.
I'm not. Listen, this woman has not mentioned once that this is not the first time. Look at the Venezuelan government. Look at what people have said she's done for them, how she stole from them, how she's manipulated them. This is not the first time. This woman has a career history of doing this. This is not the first time with me. This is her career. It's on the screen. Look at the screen behind you. My guys have put it on the screen. Just look at it. There it is. Post it. Okay. This is her career. She has been doing this all her life.
Can you describe? Okay? It's kind of difficult to see. Can you describe that? What that is? Or somebody can what is that?
Kevin, exactly? Come and describe this.
Or just share me. Just share it with me. I can put it up.
No. I'm gonna have my guy do it. I'm gonna have him.
Kevin, if you share it with me on Twitter, I can put it up. Just put it in the messaging. And I can put it up.
Can you hear him?
Tell him that.
Messaging. Here you go.
Message me on Twitter, and then I can put up what this is. But no, I mean, Armstrong, this is why I had you on. I mean, we've done our due diligence, and I feel there's enough, at least substance there, which is why I wanted to give you a chance to speak on this. but I feel that there's enough substance that why we had Trevian on, who I think has the credibility to speak on things like this.
She has been manipulated, okay?
Who has she
She's
been
been lied
manipulated
to by
But by who?
Patricia. Patricia, the whistleblower who I fired. That's her source.
What's her game, though? What's her motive?
I'm not getting into her mental head. I already said I'm not getting into that. Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm his Kevin Harris, his social media director.
Please.
I'm also the man who was defrauded $15,000 while performing services for her on the job. The reason
for who? Patricia?
For Patricia Bolin Lace. Please, everybody in the chat, please look up Patricia Bolin, BOLIN LEIS, Lace. Patricia Bolin Lace. She has been convicted of literally defrauding not just people in Brazil, not just people in Venezuela, not just people in this office. She's defrauded so many people, and in a large amount of people. And honestly, like, for me, someone who's sitting on the sidelines who's not directly affected by this, I could sit back and say, hey, like, whatever, it's just my job, it's just my 9 to 5. But I can't, because she actually defrauded me of actual money.
So you have legal documentation, Kevin, that can prove this? Is that what's behind?
I have legal writing of the agreement that we had for me to work for her while in this office. Not
that helps.
Do I have that, but I also have an entire link I can send you, which will lead you to an article that a Venezuela investigator did on her about how she defrauded the son of one of the president's children, $2 million. Like, this is a repeated thing that she does. She frauds people, she lies about it, she leaves. It happens over and over and over again. Fortunately for Armstrong, he has someone on his team who's has enough media literacy to point and spot things like this out. But because I can spot when something is made out of AI. I was raised with it. I learned about how to use it in school. He cannot. So for him, he's saying, oh, he can't really have a real justification for why WhatsApp, his name is showing up in a text thread with Patricia.
Okay, but let me just say this, Kevin. I really appreciate everything you're saying, but you have to think about the perspective of people on the outside looking in. You work for Armstrong. You're a part of his cohort. What do you say to people that just say, well, of course, Kevin's going to back him up. He works for him. He's beholden to him. What do you say to
research her name? Like, literally type her name into Google.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
I understand that no one really wants to do research anymore. We live in a day and age where data is given to you directly.
No. We advocate research. We advocate that.
But
absolutely.
Just type in her name into a Google search. Like, honestly, type her name in. She's not on the FBI's most wanted list for by accident. That didn't happen by accident. That didn't happen after a long indictment period. That happened because she defrauded multiple people.
Now, was this before you guys hired her or after?
She defrauded people before Brazil, in South America, and we had no knowledge about it. They did a story.
Okay, just to be fair, I believe everything you're saying, Kevin. I believe everything you're saying, and
you don't have to believe me. Honestly, you can just look it up.
No, of course, and that's what we should do. You're absolutely right. I always advocate do your own research. I always advocate that, which is why I think we've built a community like this because we advocate that all the time. But let me talk to Armstrong. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate that. Let me just really quickly talk to Armstrong. So, Armstrong, what do you say to people though? I want to hear from you. What do you say to people though, who say that, well, of course you're going to say this because, or of course you're going to, why did you hire somebody that supposedly had this track record or criminal record as you guys purport to bring forth?
I've already answered that.
Okay, so we have Patricia here. I'm going to bring her up.
Oh no, you're not. You're not going to bring her up on there with me, Kevin. Disconnect me. He has Patricia here. He's trying to bring up. Disconnect me. We had an agreement that I would come on. So no. You did no. You're not. Listen. You can play that game with everybody else. I'm done. I said what I needed to say. I'm not going to ever communicate.
Okay, Armstrong. I'm not trying to blindside you. No. I'm not trying to blindside you. Hi, Patricia. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Sorry about that.
Okay, hold on one second. So, I really, I just want to say this really quickly to our audience. Armstrong, if you're listening, here, let me put you back. Hold on a second, okay, Patricia? I'll bring you back up. Hold on a second. Just stay there. Armstrong, that was not something that I was trying to do. You made a lot of serious allegations that she's mentally ill, that she has a criminal record, that you hired her even though she has an FBI background. Please come back on the show and let's just try to make sense. The whole point here is to get to the truth. That's the whole point. So if you're listening, Armstrong, or if Armstrong's team is listening, please come back, because this was not an attempt. This is just an attempt to get to the bottom of it. And so this is not anything nefarious that was going on. I'm messaging him right now on Twitter just to say that we want to get to the truth. That's all. We just want to get to the truth. And I feel it's only fair, as somebody who advocates objectivity, I think it's only fair that we have somebody, the actual individual who's involved, who can tell us what she's talking about. This revolves all around her. I just wanted you to refute that. That's all I wanted to do. I'm not bringing on, Armstrong told me before the show that he would not be on if Trevion was on. And I completely conceded. I conceded that. But if you're going to make allegations about somebody that they're mentally ill and they're a criminal and they can't be trusted, she's sick in the head, I think it's only fair to bring her on. So I'm going to bring her on right here. I wish Armstrong would come back. That's the only reason I had her come in. So welcome. This is literally the apex of this entire bombshell. Somebody who worked for Armstrong. Patricia, how do you say your name, Patricia? Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, I can see him.
It's great to see you. I don't know. I feel bad that Armstrong left. I was hoping that we could get you both on and we could, get to the bottom of this, because again,
Sure.
I'm not right or left. I'm not for you.
I completely understand.
Yeah, I'm not on your side. I'm not on Travion's side. I'm not on Armstrong's side. I'm not on Fannie Willis. Well, definitely not on Fannie Willis. But I mean, I just literally wanted to get down to the truth, and I don't understand why he left. But tell us,
he's afraid of me.
He's afraid of you.
Yes.
Okay, so you, how do I say your name, Patricia?
Yes, my name is Patricia Lelis.
Lelis. Okay, great to meet you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for coming on. So you worked for Armstrong Williams, correct?
I did work for Armstrong Williams, and first of all, I'm a serious person. I am a journalist. I'm not here to make allegations that I cannot prove, like Armstrong, because all the time Armstrong come to talk about people that question him. He's always with this tremendous allegations, but he never have proof of stuff. What I'm going to say here, I have proof, I have documents. All these documents, my attorney already has everything, and I shared most of these documents with Travion too. So I started to work for Armstrong back in 2021. Armstrong hired me as a journalist because that's what I am. And I'm also a public person that everyone can check me on social media. And he hired me as a journalist. And I can tell you that I did the work as a journalist for, 3 or 4 months maximum. Then I started to understand how Armstrong works and how his office works. There's a bunch of guys over his office. He has Michael. He has Kevin, that is the guy he was talking with during the live. Kevin,
now, let me ask you really quickly. And Patricia, sure. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
And you, to me, seem very, very sober, cogent.
I am sober, sir.
You don't seem like mentally whatever that Armstrong Williams was accusing you of. You seem very articulate, intelligent, and you seem very, very here, present-minded. I'm getting a lot of comments, not only on X, but in the comments below. Are you beholden legally that you can't share anything right now on the show?
I think I cannot share like all the documents because
Okay.
it's thousands of documents.
But you're saying they're going to come
sure.
out eventually. They're going to come out.
Yeah, I can share you something here right now. I share with Travian to send to you so we can put it live here. But just to make sure about this allegation, Armstrong always say people are crazy. I'm not the first employee who go against him. He has 2 other employers who sued him before. And his first allegation against these people is always they are liars, they are crazy, they are mentally ill. I did exams. I hired a doctor, and I can put in myself like to have consultations with any doctors people wanna. And this doctor make like a report. He say everything that I have is like extremely exciting because Armstrong, but I'm not a liar. I'm not a crazy person. I'm completely
Why did he say?
normal.
Why did he say that you're a fugitive and you're running from the FBI?
I'm not a fugitive, first of all. Let's put it this way, extremely clear. I am in my home.
Okay.
So he make this claim that I have like a FBI background. That's not even the truth. The truth it is when I start to realize what Armstrong was doing, and that was my mistake because again, I'm not from US. In my country, I come from a very normal country. When we have some problems or when we see some crime, we call the police. In my country, the federal police, which is like the FBI United States. That's what I did.
The federales.
Yes,
Okay.
I called the FBI when I started to realize what Armstrong was doing because Armstrong's office does so much illegal stuff because he claimed he's this journalist. He claimed he's just to go to the TV. That's not even close to the truth. Armstrong's office, he sell influence. That's basically what he does. And he's not a person who has like strong beliefs about politics. His beliefs about money. He can shake hands with Democrats, with Republicans, with dictators if he go to get money from them. When I realized everything Armstrong was doing, I called the FBI. And I told the FBI everything was doing, all the facts and everything. I spent hours with the FBI over the phone. They told to me they would go to get back to me. And I was like, that's fine. You guys have my address. You guys have my phone. Come to talk with me. One day was last year in August. The FBI knocked on my door. And I was like, welcome, come inside. Let's talk. Because in my mind, they're coming in my house because I gave them a call before. So when that's happened, I realized they're raising my house. They want all my documents, all my cell phones, all my computers, and they're nice. The agents was in my house. They're very nice. I don't have nothing to complain about them. So they took everything they want. Everything they took, by the way, belongs to Armstrong. All the computers, all the phones, because that's what I had in my house in that point. At the same week, I met a prosecutor called Russell Kalberg. Russell Kalberg, that's his name. I met with this guy the same week. And we have a conversation with this prosecutor. And this prosecutor claimed that Armstrong and his friend is called Julian Rice. He's a millionaire from, I think he was born in Australia. His parents is from China. And Armstrong helped all his family to get visas to live inside of the US. So Kalberg spoke with Armstrong, and Armstrong claimed that I stole money from them. I was very calm with this prosecutor, a high attorney. I was like, look, I called the FBI before to report everything that I'm seeing, everything that I listen, all my notes. I can give like all my notes, all the documents that I have. And this same prosecutor, he was like, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to talk with you. I want you give me all the documents that the FBI do not find in your house. And I asked him like, which documents are you talking about? How do you know I have these documents? I was calm down. I was like, I just want to understand what's going on here. And this prosecutor, he's like, I'm not going to talk with you. And he had a plea deal for me. In this plea deal, he told I have 3 days for any single attorney in US who deals with federal cases. They know it's not normal. A prosecutor in a case like this offer a plea deal in 3 days. And he told me it was take or leave. And I was like, look, I'm not afraid of the situation. I work with politics since I was 16. I'm not going to sign anything, nothing. I left to his office, and since that day, all the communication this prosecutor had with my attorneys, he was asking me to sign this plea deal and give all the documents that I have. And I still very interesting to know how he knows about these documents, why he's so interested about this documentation that I have.
And this is the, really quickly, this is the documentation that proves
Yes.
the connection between Bill Barr and
Yes.
Fani Willis.
Everything.
That you're saying is facilitated by Armstrong Williams.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And it was not just that. Again, Armstrong's office does such illegal stuff. He has connection with the Turkish Airlines people, which I can have proof of that. He traveled to Turkey many times with everything paid by the Turkish Airlines. I was there when he was meeting with the Turkish ambassador. So it's a lot of things.
Okay, let me ask you this really quickly, because I just want to be fair, and I'm not accusing you of anything. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't, basically equivocal, neutral.
Yes.
What do you say to these charges, these allegations? I was shared a link from the United States Attorney's Office,
yes,
where you were essentially indicted for, I guess, defrauding immigrant investors. What's that all about? Again, I'm not accusing you.
No, I
just want to be fair.
No.
I just want to be fair.
I completely understand. You can ask me everything.
Okay.
It is true that I was accused. It is completely true. It is there. Like, I think it is in the FBI website. These allegations exist, but these allegations are fake. First of all, do not exist, these immigrants and blah, blah, blah. All the people involved, it is people that I never met in person, but it's people that Armstrong does business. This guy involved is called Julian Hayes. You can Google him.
Armstrong mentioned him.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. I never saw this guy in person. Armstrong did his visa before, because Armstrong has connections inside of the government because of Bill Barr, because of another people that he knows. And he sell these visas. So he sold this visa first for Julian. And then after, he sold the same kind of visa for Julian's parents. We come from China to US. Armstrong put me to work in the business plan, and that's everything that I did. I have all the contracts. They hire a different attorney. They're like in Florida, because Armstrong has an attorney called Clyde Vannell, which is a Democratic elected in New York. And they hired this group in Florida. I was never like inside of this, because when I started to work for Armstrong, he already had this business. And as you can see, another allegations from other people, Armstrong always put his employees to do this different and outside jobs. And if you're not doing the work he's asking you to do, he starts to threaten you like he did with me. And I still have all the threats. If I open my Twitter here now, or X, I can show you everything.
Well, so, I have, I don't know if Trevian sent me something. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it, but it was
You can share everything that I share with Trevian. And just to be really clear, when that's happened, because of the materials that I have, and all the, because what I'm telling you is concrete. I have everything by date, meetings, notes. I have everything.
What do you say to him? What do you say to him saying that this is all AI? Is that
everything
just?
That, no,
do you even know how to use AI? Do you know how to use AI?
I do not. I do not. And like,
I mean, I'm laughing, but I mean, it's possible to make stuff up. But I'm saying,
possible, but I never did.
You never did.
One other thing that I'm telling you is, like, if all this is fake, let's just say all this is fake, like Armstrong say, why he never sued me? And you know why he never sued me? Because, you know, if he sues me, I can subpoena him and I can have all the documents. I can have everything, because that's how lawsuits work in the United States. Armstrong never sued me for one single word that I'm telling for months. When I get out of US, I have political asylum in another country, because the government take a look in what I have. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy to give, like, governments doesn't give political asylums for people like, oh, let's just say she's pretty, let's just give her political asylum. That's not how things work.
Right.
In the real life,
right,
we need to prove to get a political asylum. And I did.
Okay.
I did.
I want to share this, and you tell me. He thinks this is AI, but I want to share this because it's just really, really. I mean, to me, this is almost more incriminating than. I mean, to me, it says a lot. But I'm going to share this, and then let me know if you can sort of see this come up. I want to make it kind of big so everybody can see it. So, do you see that right there, Patricia?
I do, yes.
So this is, tell us what we're looking at right now. What are we seeing?
Armstrong sent me this message. I have the notes of these days, and I am not sure about this address, but I think was Fannie Willis or Nathan Wade or someone's office address.
This is a text exchange between you and Armstrong?
Yes.
Okay, one of them says, if you look at the messaging, I'm just going to read this. So I'm not worried about the address, but Patricia, take an envelope I left on my desk, yada, yada, yada. And then you say, hi, I never did that before. How does it work? Ask, sure, Michael. Did you send the envelope? You said, yeah, yes, I did. Here's the most incriminating part, I think, if it's true, if it's not AI, is where he says, do not use the office phone to call Bill Barr or Fannie Willis. Use the burner phone. You're saying this is legitimate.
It is.
And you can say on the record that this is not AI.
It is not.
This is not fabrication.
No.
Wow.
If
That
I
to
open
me is,
here,
please.
here's my phone.
Uh-huh.
Here is my former Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay.
If I go here and the message,
Uh-huh.
here's the message.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go to type Armstrong. He blocked me, of course. But here it is, Armstrong's message. Okay.
Okay.
I am.
Oh, I have this. I think I. Oh no. Okay. So yeah. So he sent you all these messages.
Here,
yeah.
I'm gonna go to Armstrong Williams account. He also said that's fake. He also said that's EI. Armstrong has all these guys working in his office, like Sir Michael, Kevin. These people, they're like very lazy. They never really worked. Everything Armstrong tell them to do, they will do it because they're receiving the easy money from Armstrong. But I'm sure when Armstrong sent me this message, he did not realize message over here cannot be deleted. But he claims he never sent that.
Mm-hmm.
So everything for Armstrong, it is people are against him. People are faking things from him. I'm not the first employee who come up and say, this guy is dangerous. Like I showed with Travian, how Armstrong can be this Republican, this conservative person, as he claimed he was. And he launched events for the mayor of DC in his home. I was there. I was there the entire time. The same time he was doing videos and postings about how all the people who went to jail for January 6th was not legal, how these people are being treated not well. He was laughing in these parties with the mayor of DC, which is extremely democratic person. She's from the Democratic Party.
What you're saying is, if I'm hearing you correctly, and if that text message, which again, Trevion came on our show, which really started this entire bombshell.
Yes.
Which with your help, obviously, which is very why I'm so grateful you're here. And I was hoping Armstrong and you could, because it's only like hearsay, he said, she said, unless we get the two of you together to talk about it.
Yes.
And he jumped out, he bounced.
I want to see him in court. That's everything that I wanted. Let's go to court. Let's put everything extremely clear on the table.
I believe your conviction. I mean, I think you really, really believe what you believe, and you're sharing things that seem very, very substantive and concrete. And he really believes what he believes, which is why I was hoping to get the two of you together.
Sure.
But that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is this, and eventually you're saying this is all going to come out eventually, correct?
I think very soon.
Okay. So let me ask you this again, just to be fair. You're saying that even though he's known for being a quote unquote conservative commentator, Republican, et cetera, Ben Carson's one of his good allies or friends or what have you, you're saying that he's going to parties, laughing with the mayor of Washington, D.C., who's a staunch Democrat. Are you saying that he's, fraternizing with these people because he's not really somebody who believes in his conservative values, or what are you exactly saying with that?
That's what I'm saying. That's what
You're
I'm
saying he's just there for the money, basically.
Yes.
Like a grift, like he's just a grifter.
Yeah, Armstrong,
Okay.
he doesn't have like a belief, and he has like, it's extremely funny because
now let me ask you this. What do you say to people, because again, I'm just playing devil's advocate,
sure.
What do you say to people who say, well, so what if he's laughing with a Democratic mayor? That doesn't mean anything. I mean, you see Donald Trump, who
I think that's me a lot. I think that's me a lot. That it's criminal, of course not. But that, for me who works with politics for years, that tells me something. Because when you work with politics and when you come in public and say, I have a side, can be Democratic, can be Republican, doesn't matter. And in the back, you are making fun, like you're making jokes about situations that put people's lives in danger. Like, we are talking right now about people who are in jail for January 6th. And I'm not here to say what I think. I think they're right. I think they're wrong. I'm not saying that. I am saying when we work with politics and when we have like Armstrong media and you have TV channels and everything, we need to be at least respectful about situations. That's my opinion. And I don't believe in people who come to the media and say, I am so honest, I am so Republican, I don't think these people should be in jail. And when you go to the back and make parties in your own house for the mayor of a city who is helping to put all these people in jail, I don't think that's honest.
Right.
Why is this like, it's so disrespectful with people? Because again, we are talking about people who has families and they're in jail right now.
Right.
That's so sad. It doesn't matter like the side of the politics.
You're saying, so if I agree. I completely agree. It's called integrity, right?
Integrity, perfect. Yes, it is.
And what you're saying is basically what you're saying, Patricia, is that you don't think you don't think Armstrong Williams is really demonstrating or displaying his true colors. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
He says one thing and does another, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Now, what do you think about him? So has he filed a lawsuit against you? Or are you guys in a legal conflict?
He never filed one single lawsuit against me.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
He always claimed on Twitter, X, or whatever it is, that I'm a liar, that I'm crazy. He never filed one single lawsuit because he know in the same day that he filed this lawsuit, I can have access to all the files. I can request under the justice to have this. He never did. He never would do.
Interesting. I have a lot more questions to ask you. I want to take some questions from the audience. Is that okay,
Sure,
Patricia? If you have any questions in the audience, let us know right now. And I want to also ask you, Patricia, what do you hope will happen? What do you want to happen?
Look, I'm not a person who voted for Trump. I'm not even American citizen, just to put it very clear here. But I really believe some people are being persecuted fake, like it's a fake persecution. I truly believe that. And I hope the truth comes. And again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not here to play this game. But one thing that I realized, it is a lot of people who claims to like Trump or to support Trump, it's not true. And Armstrong is one of those people. And they use it, the little power they have, to prosecute innocent people, just to go against a Trump, and they have a goal to be in power, to have influence, whatever it is. My goal with all the situation, it is just let's to put the cards on the table. Let's to be honest about the situation. Because I have a lot of people now who is claimed to be Trump supporter and to be so honest, they're playing games in the back. So that's everything that I want. Let's to be clear about the situation here. Like Traven, I look for her. I sent a message to her because I remember the conversation they had about dualist and go against people. And my question is, that's really the real game? That's the real politics? Using everyone, every single situation to create a fake persecution against people? That's not fair. That's
Right.
not like Republicans of bananas, you know? It is not fair. And that's my point.
Right. I think we got some great comments here and questions that I want to ask you, Patricia. One of our members, Jojo Johan, says, if you were defrauded, why hasn't she been sued by you both? Even if she is in another country, our court system will reflect the case. So that's kind of an interesting point.
That's correct.
That Armstrong brought up, saying that you defrauded all these, him and his office, essentially. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting question. I did the same question for the prosecutor because everything who happened over Armstrong's office the entire time. Everything happened in his office. Just me was prosecuted. And that's a big question because under the American law, you cannot prosecute just the employee. Doesn't make any sense. That's in fact against the law. You need to prosecute. You need to prosecute the boss and everyone involved. They are not prosecuted because that's a fake prosecution.
Because
so
it's not, you're saying because it's not legitimate. It's not real.
It's not illegitimate.
Okay, let me ask you this. I really appreciate you being here, Patricia, because this is all revolving around your testimony. The facts that we know, okay, here are the facts. And again, everything else can be conjecture until you show receipts and real documentation, which you say you're going to. So the facts are that you do have some bit of a track record, or there's been some, obviously some cases that are brought up against you. But you were definitely hired by Armstrong Williams. You were definitely hired by the office. You definitely worked for him.
Yes.
Those are the real facts that we know. And he has even admitted that he hired you based on, I guess he said, some friends or some testimony that some people vouched for you or what have you. Now, as far as like everything that you talked about with Travion, we had Travion on, as far as everything that you've essentially accused Armstrong Williams and his office. Here's a good question from Mrs. Mom. Do you have any photos of Bill Barr in the office?
I have many. I can.
Are you willing to show one right now?
Yeah, right now. I have many. I can show you.
Show it. I'm going to give you the full screen. Show me. Well, that looks like Armstrong Williams, right?
Me.
Who's in the picture? Who's in that picture?
Me in the middle. Armstrong and Bill Barr.
Wow. Do you have any pictures with Fani Willis?
I do not have pictures of Fani Willis. No.
Okay.
I have more pictures with Barr, pictures that I took without they know. I have some of those.
Now, Armstrong said earlier when he was here, he said, can you imagine if I had somebody as Bill Barr in my office, other people would have been able to vouch for that besides you. Now, from what I understand, there are other whistleblowers, correct?
Yes.
And there are other people. Are they willing to come out?
I don't know if they're willing to come out in public because, again, Armstrong threats people, definitely send death threats, but they definitely will come up at some point in a lawsuit. Yes. Okay.
Here's a question. Thank you for that. Here's a question from one of our audience members. Did Armstrong meet with Barr and Fani at his office? Now, before you answer, Armstrong said unequivocally before you jumped on that he's never met Fani Willis.
He did.
He did. You're saying he did.
He did.
And are you saying that can you answer this question? Did he meet with Barr and Fani in his office?
Yes, he did.
He did.
He did.
So you're saying
I even have a Fani Willis personal phone number that I can show you for you right now.
Okay. I just got a message from Armstrong. I'm gonna put this up. He says you're lying. He won't come back on the show.
He always say that I'm lying. It's okay. I'm strong. That's everything that you can say.
So this is what Armstrong. Okay. Just really quickly. So this is what Armstrong just said. He just sent this to me. That is not my office. That picture that you showed. That is WJLA, a TV studio in Virginia.
He has 2 offices. Let's be honest. He has 2 offices. I don't know what's this here.
Where did that come from?
No.
Okay.
He has 2 offices, one close to the Capitol Hill. And when you go to Sinclair building in Arlington, Virginia, they have a building over there. And he has an office over there too.
Okay, so you're saying that's not the office. Okay.
You go to the 2nd floor, you go to have the studios in one side, then we go to have the stairs. And when you go to have the door over here, and when you open the door, you have all the tables for the journalists, and you go around, and he also have an office over there.
He's also claiming that you created forged documents earlier this year that were AI generated.
Everything for this guy is AI. I'm trying to go to the court. Sue me, please. Go. I'm waiting for that. Go.
He also says that you hacked their media accounts on multiple occasions, sending messages between the accounts to herself. That's what he says. I'm not saying this.
No,
I'm not saying this. This is what he said.
Now I'm a hacker too. That's impressive.
So wait a minute. Now, so wait a minute. And I'm not laughing. I mean, I'm kind of.
I'm laughing. I'm so sorry, but like, sir, I'm just a journalist.
I
something.
Okay, you know, I could be wrong. You could be the most brilliant technical wizard on the planet.
Yes.
But this is what I'm getting so far from Armstrong Williams's people. You're an AI fabricator specialist, and you also know how to hack people's accounts and personal accounts, social media accounts, and you can send messages back and forth. What could possibly now? When I asked him on the air, this is a good question too. We'll get to that, Jim, one of the best mods in the business. When I asked him on the air, I said, what could be her motive for this? All he could say was that you're sick in the head. He said, you're crazy. Do you have now, just for the record, do you have any history of mental illness or any, have you ever had any medications dealing with mental illness or mental unwellness or mental health?
No.
And have you ever seen any mental health professional in your life or career?
I did after Armstrong accused me to be a liar. So I submitted myself to evaluation because, you know, if he's saying that, he maybe have some proof that I don't have it. So I went to the doctor. I did all the proceeds and I have the documentation where the doctors say I'm not a mentally ill person. I don't have any kind of mentally ill illness. I gotta be honest.
I have to be honest. Talking with you, having you on the show, and somebody like Trevian, who I actually trust, I don't get any feeling that you have any mental problems.
I share with you, Trevian, a part of like the conclusion of the medical records. I don't have nothing. I have anxiety, which is I think everybody does.
I do too. Everybody has it.
But it's not even the point for me to take medication. I have all the documents from the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So again, I don't know how I can be a hacker.
You don't seem like a hacker to me, but I mean, I could be. We could all be wrong, and
sir,
you could be. Some
let me put this
wizard.
way: if I'm a hacker, let's just suppose I'm a hacker. Let's just suppose this. I won't waste my time hack Armstrong. That was my point. Like, I'm sure if I'm correct, would be a more interesting thing for me to do.
I still don't know. I still have a hard time understanding what would be your motive for going through all this trouble. For somebody that you work for somebody that you earned your, was that your only job when you worked with Armstrong Williams, or do you have other jobs?
Yes, no. I just had, that was my first job and the only job.
So this was your livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just having a hard time understanding, which is why I'm happy to have Armstrong come back. I don't understand what would be your motive. When I asked him, he just said, she's sick in the head.
That's everything that he has to say. But like, again, everyone who works in Armstrong's office is just a situation. Or you still work there for the rest of your life. Everyone who works for Armstrong, they say in the back of Armstrong how much they hate work for Armstrong because Armstrong is abusive. Armstrong yell with people. Armstrong is like, when I was working, they have this girl called Priscilla Rye. She left right after me because Armstrong was like yelling, throw things on her. He does this with everyone. So people just stay there because of fear of Armstrong. Or when they left, they need to sue Armstrong like people did before. Armstrong has 2 lawsuits for 2 former employees, and they claim the same. They claim the same. I spoke with one of this former employee, and everything that he told to me was like, is such a normal behavior for Armstrong. And he claims everyone is crazy, everyone has problems, but he's perfect. But everyone claimed the same about him. So, for example, the Kevin, the guy he was always talking about here and say, Kevin, take me out of the video and blah, blah, blah.
I think he's the one that's messaging me on X right now, I think.
Of course it is. Kevin, it is a boy. He's a grandson of someone very important on the mayor of DC. She's close to the mayor of DC. Her name it is, let me get her name, just a second. I even have pictures here of them together.
Okay, we lost your video.
Her name, sorry,
okay.
Her name it is Beverly Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Perry. She's one of the most important attorney in the mayor of DC employees. Kevin, it is a grandchild of this woman. Kevin is a boy. It is a guy who works there. Armstrong even don't treat him well.
I actually asked him that when he was kind of speaking on Armstrong's behalf. I asked him, I said, Kevin, just to play devil's advocate, like I'm doing with you, I see all these, reports about you being in trouble with the law and you're clarifying for it. But no, I asked Kevin, I said, well, what do you say to people who would say to you, well, of course you're going to defend Armstrong because you work for him. You're a part of his cohort, and then he said, all you have to do is Google your name. So if you Google Patricia, your full name, he said you would see everything that came up on you.
It's the same thing that I'm saying. Google Armstrong. You will see he betrayed Ben Carson because he played with Ben Carson. I feel so sorry for the guy because I genuinely think he's a nice person. Mm-hmm. But when he was in the first Trump administration, he has problem with them because he put Michael to work in Ben Carson. They lied for Ben Carson. They stole money. Everything is on the media. So it's not about let's to play games, let's to Google names, let's to play the real thing. Let's to put proofs on the table. Let's just say, for example, Kevin, he was using drugs in the office. I have pictures because one day I show up, I open my drawer and have drugs inside of my table. And I was like, that don't belong to me. I spoke with Kevin. Armstrong spoke with Kevin. But do you understand? We need to think Armstrong. He's a person who, when he put people to work inside of his office, he claimed that people need to be grateful because it's the most important job they can have in DC. And that's how he started to get these people in this situation. Mm-hmm. And again, people just left the office when they are able to sue Armstrong. Most of the people who works for Armstrong for a lot of time, or they involved in Armstrong illegal business because that's what Armstrong does with people, or they don't see a way to get out.
Interesting. We have a question here from one of our audience members. Will she forward all her evidence to Kash Patel? Saying, please, Patricia. So are you, obviously you don't probably have a direct access to Kash Patel, who's not even sworn in as or even confirmed as FBI director. But do you have any avenue to share your information with higher ups?
I do have it. I don't think I can share this right now, how we are doing, because again, Armstrong will start to play his games and influence people. That's what he does. But yes, we have a path. Mm-hmm. Me and my attorney.
Well, maybe with Trevian's help, you could get it to the right people.
Yeah, my attorney, he's very
And by the way, this show's gonna go all over. So you're gonna get.
But my attorney, he's very well known. He's representing a lot of important people. So we have a way. Yes.
So you have counsel. You've retained counsel. Okay.
Yeah, I do have it. I do have it. Yes. A very good one.
Israel, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Says, what prevents you from having all this evidence delivered to the White House once Trump becomes okay? So we kind of answered that. And you're saying that you definitely have a way of getting it to the right people. right?
Yes, yes. My
Because
attorney is
obviously
doing that
that
right
is
now.
going to be the ultimate decider, is if everything that you're claiming is true and everything that, and by the way, I mean, it's obvious, again, just to be very, very clear. And I'm not trying to say this or that, but we have to be on the side of what we can prove and
Yes.
objectivity and what is concrete. What we know concretely is you worked for Armstrong Williams.
I did.
Armstrong Williams, obviously had some connections in a lot of the landscape in political parties, both right and left. I mean, the mayor with Bill Barr, et cetera, et cetera. He's been doing this a very, very long time. His media company has done this for a very, very long time. Those are the facts. And we also know that you've made some very, very strong allegations. And I brought him on our show to essentially refute that. And from what I've gleaned, the only thing that I've been able to get from Armstrong is that you're crazy. That's the only thing I've been able to get. And that he's made up, that you've made all this stuff up. And so that's what we know concretely. It's you saying this and him saying that. And we're going to let our audience decide who they think is telling the truth. But I can say right now, as somebody who not only has, ate, slept, and breathed in this world for a long time, but somebody who's taught at universities and somebody who's been in media and somebody who knows human behavior really well, I don't see any sign of you having any mental, I don't have any sign of you having mental issues whatsoever. Now, can I ask you this? I want to ask you this question right now. I'm being asked actually through some sources here. Do you know anything about the FANI Willis Facebook collusion? What is that?
I do. So what's happened was, I think, I'm not going to remember exactly the month. I need to go back to my notes. But at some point, we had a meeting with someone from Facebook. Her name was Danielle. I think in English would be Danielle. I don't know. In my language, Danielle. This meeting was set up by Clyde Vanell, which is this guy from New York. And I don't know the back of the story because, again, when I start to work for Armstrong, they already have most of this business going on. So most of this I get like in the middle of the situation. And I'm sure, and I can guarantee to you that because I have notes of the meetings, the way they was play with Facebook account, it is to spread disinformation about January 6th. So they use like people inside of Facebook and of course a lot of people outside to become with information to influence people about the January 6th.
Wow.
That's what I know.
Wow.
I'm sure like have more things inside, but again, when I start to work that, they already been doing this work before. So I just jump in the middle of this. So I don't know how how was the beginning, how they start that. I don't know.
Interesting.
I know like what I was copy, the emails that I was copy, and the things that I saw and listened.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's insane. I mean, it makes sense.
I share with Travion, one of the emails, yes.
I have a feeling this story is long from over.
It is.
We have a lot more. I would love to be able to have you, and I've already talked to Travion. I would love to have you guys come on again as this story unfolds and we get more intricacies and details and concrete evidence, et cetera, et cetera. But what you just said is interesting given the fact that the special report by the Inspector General just came out and talked and proved it wasn't a conspiracy, that there were FBI.
That.
Yeah. Well, there was a new, just in case a lot of people watching might not know either or listening, there was a special report. I did an entire show on this, that the Inspector General actually discovered and proved that there were FBI informants in January 6th. Oh, everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody said it was a conspiracy, but guess what? It's true.
Sir, let me tell you something. I don't know if Travian has the time. I don't know if I still have the time to tell you because it's so many things. When I was here in my house, in another country, with political asylum, as I do have it, all the paperwork and everything. I was here one day, was April 15 of this year. The FBI show up at my house, at my door. I have everything recorded.
This
everything.
April
This April of this year. And just so you know, the FBI doesn't have any jurisdiction in another country. They can do a lot of things in US. Outside of the US, they cannot do nothing.
Yeah, I think Travian talked about this, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was here in my house. The FBI show up in my door. I was okay. I was like, what you guys are doing here? Soon I opened my door, they came inside. And they're like, raised on my house. They wanted my computers, they wanted my notes, they wanted my phones, they wanted everything. I called the federal police of the country that I am. They came like in few minutes. The FBI tried to put me in the FBI car to take me to the airport. I have everything extremely documented, everything. All the time, this FBI agent, his name is Guillermo Turk. He was the entire time in the phone with the prosecutor who accused me. And at some point, I am sure he was also in the phone with Armstrong. And I'm not sure, but I think he was in the phone with BILL BARR too. Because the entire time, they're like, you need to give us everything that you have. You need to come with us. And I was like, you guys cannot do this with me. That's like attempt of like kidnapped. You guys cannot do this. And the only reason they did nothing with me and they not took my notes, my device, my documentation was because the federal police of the country that I am was here to help me and was here to protect me.
This was in Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
And one normal thing that will happen if I'm a real fugitive, like Armstrong claim, everyone knows the legal thing that can happen is they file for extradition. That will be the normal case. Like we have a fugitive, file for extradition. They never did. Never. Mm-hmm. They never did. Doesn't have one single file about that. Mm-hmm. So every single point in the situation, it is strange. And I know most of the people can think that's crazy, can think that's insane, but I can guarantee to you, have some FBI agents involved in everything that happened.
Is this the guy right here? Can you see the screen right here?
Yes, that's exactly the guy. I have videos of him and everything. That's the guy. And I know was because it was so hard for me to believe the FBI will be involved in stuff like this, you know? It is hard to believe.
Well, especially given that it's out of their jurisdiction.
Yes, it is hard to believe. But
let me ask. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think you said you thought maybe Armstrong was on the phone and BILL BARR? What made you think that?
Because when this guy was here, he was in the phone, but then the federal police from Mexico told them, look, you need to put this in a speaker. Everyone needs to listen what you are doing. And he refused to put in a speaker. He refused. But then when he has like two phones that he was talking, like with two different people. And I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure, one was Russell Kalberg, this prosecutor, and another one was Armstrong. But I'm not able to like say 100% sure about Armstrong. I think it was him, but the prosecutor, I'm 100% sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is a lot. I mean, this is definitely a lot. Do you have anything that you can talk about before you go? I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do you have anything that you can talk about when Travian said one of the burner phones had Judge Juan Merchan on it? Can you tell us anything about Judge Juan Merchan and maybe Letitia James, or you can't do that?
Well, the only thing that I can say, it is things that I can prove. Their numbers are in their burner phones, but I don't know like any conversations. Okay. I was not part of any.
But you did see their number. You did see their number.
Yeah,
their name.
But I was like, I saw the number, I saw the name, but again, I never was in any meetings. I don't know like any contacts about that. I just saw the numbers, and that's all. Nothing more.
Okay. Well, I mean, we definitely are going to be, we're going to be following this story extremely, extremely closely. And I really, you have protection for yourself, Patricia. You obviously have a lawyer, you have an attorney.
I do.
Make sure that you're protected, and I really
Let's put it
appreciate.
clear. If anything happened with me, for anyone who's watching this video, can be two different individuals. Armstrong Williams, first of all, or anyone close to this prosecutor, Russell Colbert. That's all.
Okay.
I would
Okay,
love
well-
you to come back and talk more. I have a lot of more to share.
Yeah.
Even about Armstrong's legal house in Puerto Vallarta here in Mexico, that I have all the documents where
Wow.
he's done all his meetings. So I have a lot of things. And again, I'm not mentally ill. I'm here to talk. I can go to court and talk. That was just what's happened, unfortunately.
I'm not a psychiatrist, okay? But I can say with like 99% conviction and positivity that I don't sense even a molecule of mental well. Now, could you be lying? Of course. Anybody could be lying. Could you be not telling the truth? Of course. And again, that's why I don't want to talk too much about things that can't be proven.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any documentation, any videos, any photos of Fani Willis, Bill Barr, and etc., I think that would help a lot. And if you can share that, we're going to be in talks. We're going to be in communication for sure. And make sure you follow me on X, Professor Nez. Make sure you follow me on X so I can get in contact with you there as well. But Patricia, again, I apologize. I was hoping we could get you and Armstrong on at the same time. I wish he didn't leave, but who knows? Maybe as time goes by, we can really get to the bottom of this, because this is huge. I mean, this is groundbreaking. If this can all be proven in a very logistical way, this is extremely groundbreaking.
I'm sure very soon everything will come up. We're just like waiting, but I'm sure very soon.
Right.
And I'm always here to talk, to prove whatever I can prove. So
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and follow me on X so we can stay in communication. Okay.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, guys, I gotta say, I'm really curious to see what you guys think of all this. I'm gonna give shout outs and live shout outs to new members and super chats. But yeah, I wanted to be fair. I wanted to be just. If Armstrong Williams' people are watching this, I didn't think it would have been just to just bring on Trevion, who I actually feel has a lot of credibility, and I absolutely back her 100%. I think she's somebody who has substance. She's somebody who has character. And I 100% believe Trevion. I'm not saying that I disbelieve Armstrong, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I will say that just calling somebody insane and sick in the head, I don't think that that's enough. And I just wish that he would have stayed on. And I wasn't trying to ambush you at all, Mr. Williams. I wasn't trying to blindside you. I think it's only fair if you're going to call somebody who's the principal accuser in this saga of connecting you with Fani Willis and Bill Barr. If you're going to accuse them of mental deficiency, I think it's only fair that they come on, have their say, and be able to at least answer to that. And so I was hoping that you two could talk and we could facilitate that. It didn't happen, but who knows? Stay tuned. We've got a lot more to cover. This story just keeps getting more and more intricate, interesting, complex, and juicy as all juice. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Let me know who you think. I mean, does she come across as an AI expert? Definitely not. Does she come across as somebody who can hack accounts? Definitely not. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Is it 100% possible that Armstrong Williams and his office are 100% right and accurate? Absolutely. But we don't have anything conclusive. We're just kind of going off of really what we've been able to dig up research-wise, evidentiary-wise, as well as in tandem, just something that's never let me down before. That's my gut instinct. It's never, ever let me down. Usually I'm wrong when I deny my gut instinct. And my gut instinct tells me that Patricia is fine, well, and I just don't get a feeling that she's lying. I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong, but I just don't get that feeling. And so I would love to get your thoughts on this. I want to give shout outs to everybody. Stay tuned because we got a lot more to cover. Huge shout out to Susan Holler for becoming a new member. JB, Jim Barron, we got the best members on the planet. Thank you so much, JB, for being here. HD Coreve, thank you for being a new member. Richard Yates, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker there, Richard. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jim Barron. Again, JB, we got the best mods in the business. Carol, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sorry, why would he suddenly out Fannie after being involved in election interference himself? He is defaming the whistleblower. Thank you, Carol, for your $5 super chat. I appreciate that. This guy's an LAD. Thank you, HD, for the $1.99 super chat. You have a lot to base that assessment on, I would say. Johan, thank you so much and congratulations on being a member for 6 months. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Jojo. Robbie Reader, the best mods in the business. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. You are a boss, Robbie Reader. Thank you so much. Mrs. Mom, we talked about that. Thank you. Travy, we asked that question. Thank you. Thank you, Israel. We talked about that. Thank you, Mrs. Mom. Appreciate you. Best show ever. Carol, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Protect you and yourself. She is brave. I'm not making any allegations. I'm just here as always to present the truth and my opinion, and that's it. There's nothing really to go off on other than that. Thank you, Jim Barron. Appreciate you. Peaches, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I think we already covered that. I think she's going to. Thank you, Israel, for the $10 super chat. Yeah, she's definitely going to do something of the sort as we discussed. Thank you, Rico, for the $2 super chat. Trump needs this, perhaps. He's got bigger fish to fry right now, but yes, this could be huge. Especially if Bill Barr is trying to if this is true, again, it's allegation, but if all of this is true, and AG or Bill Barr wants to somehow be involved in the new administration, this should definitely come up. Yanisa, good to see you. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thanks for your fairness. Face to face, once she was mentioned, he was gone. True to stay and talks through the truth. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you haven't already, please tap that thumbs up. If you love America, not for me, just if you love America, it helps us to get this video out to more people. It's not for vanity. Tap that thumbs up. Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. We also have, don't forget, new designs in our 100% made in the USA merch shop. The American people have spoken. We got mugs, hoodies, shirts, sweaters. All you got to do is go to go to professornez.com/merch or check out the pinned comment, show notes, and description down below. Thank you again for watching. I really, really appreciate you guys. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.